Hello there. Welcome to a sloppy, wet evening in Ohio. This is Barb Pask. I just received a house commission today, and I thought I would block it in and let you watch. If you watched my last video, I talked about different type of mediums, and I mentioned to you an artist named Patty Malika, and I remembered to carry in her painting to show you tonight. See, this is acrylic, and it's beautiful, I think. She works very quick. She's a representative for Golden, I believe it is. So she carries a lot of paint. She dips into a lot of paint. See, there's texture, and her colors are clean and pure. Nice, I think. It's very nice and painterly. And again, I don't know that you could tell that from oils. So it's like every medium. It depends on how you use them. I also was going to show you, I've been painting in my car quite a bit lately, and I go up to a town not too far from here called Lebanon, Ohio. It's a very charming, historic town, a lot of really old homes, and I love painting buildings. There's a building called the Golden Lamb, an old hotel too that lots of past dead presidents have slept in. It's just a real charming town, the kind of town you like to walk around and hit the shops. And so I've painted in my town a few times in the car, and I thought I'd show you a few of the paintings I've done up in Lebanon in the last little while too. This is one of them. It's a little hard to get you far enough away to see. What I've been doing is, which is a bit challenging, I try to park to where my subject is, and I'm looking at it through my windshield. So that's the challenge. So this I did one night. I parked at the corner, obviously, see the stop sign, and painted that cute Victorian. And then I went back, and this one needs a little touch up, but I went back a couple of nights ago, sat in the same spot and painted the house on the other corner. While I was out there painting, a lady walked up to me and said, "Will you paint my house?" Well, the house I was sitting next to is the house that I'm going to start tonight. I wouldn't have painted it because of where it's located. It's on the main street. So we talked, and I took a lot of photos, and she approved this photo. Here's another one I did up there one day too in the rain. This is a little restaurant, cute building. I don't know what it was originally built to be. It's a restaurant now. So very rainy day. So I've had a lot of fun. I kept busy, and a lot of people like to plein air paint, and this is a way to do it, get out in your car and try it. So anyway, I have sketched this out. Let me show you the photo that she approved. Very cute house. It's actually a business and a private home. When you go in the front, they've got she showed me there's a shop in there. They sell jewelry and variety of things, some art even. She offered to even carry my art. So I've sketched it out. This is an 11 by 14. Used my T-square, and so tonight won't be about getting much further than getting some paint on the canvas. This is a stretch canvas, and they're a little more difficult to cover in my opinion, and I could put a wash on it, but I just don't think I'm going to. So we'll start off like I always do and block in our darks. Just trying to, again, just get some paint on here, so a bit of a block in. I'll be at this one quite a while. So I just look for the darks in the photo that I see. And I'm not, trying to be real meticulous about painting the lines, even though it's important. I want it to be impressionistic and not real hard edge when I'm done. So if I get too picky, I always call it color booking, where you paint in the lines. You know, I want to keep loose edges as I go. And there's a light street sign here. They want to be able to kind of read the lettering, so I don't know. We'll see how that goes. That may be a little more challenging. Yeah, you never know, you know, get out and things happen, and I sure wasn't looking for commissions, you know, especially in my car. If I'm standing on the street, sometimes that will happen, but I actually went up to paint there's an old, I guess it was a gas station at one point, just the cutest building with the old gas pumps in front. But there was so many people walking around. But I may go up and paint that again sometime and stand there and maybe even take you with me, you know. Just kind of looking, see if my proportions seem right as I go. But you could just paint, I could paint the rest of my life up in this town. There's so much to paint there. Every time I come and go, I see more and more things. I did get permission last year, and I never got up there to paint at a private farm. I stopped and talked to the people. They have a fabulous house, huge old house, and a barn too. It has cupolas on top, and it's all white though. Everything is white. The house is white, the barn is white. Very, very pretty. Doesn't excite me as much as like if it were a, you know, red barn. All right, I'm mixing up a transparent green. And because this is a business, they've got wings right here that are attached to their fence. People take photos sometimes out. They stand in front of these wings. And I am going to put some water in this to get it to move. Again, this is just the block-in. And it does give me a chance to define my drawing a bit. I probably, when I get close to the end, may even go up in front of the building where I took this photo from and touch it up any place it needs it. Because you just don't see everything in a photo, you know. They did not want the speed limit sign included, and I wouldn't have included that anyway. We're supposed to get some concrete work started tomorrow. We're getting a new driveway poured and a patio, and I don't know if that'll happen or not. We're under a flood watch. Actually, we're under a tornado watch right now. I really would love to see it get started and done. You know, once the patio's in, we'll have to cut in beds and plant, and just be nice to get it done. But they're at the mercy of the weather, of course. And there's a tree back here that probably leaves out right now in this photo. It's not. but I'm going to make the decision to leaf it out because I suspect it will be. Plus, I think it would be more attractive if it was. It can help to soften the edge of a building, sometimes with greenery. So we'll put it here. You know, could even be by the time I go back up. See, here's a piece of the roof that I missed that we'll have to put in. And let's see what's back in here. You know, at this point, I'm not overly concerned about getting things right at all. I'm just trying to get paint on here. What surface do you like to paint on? Like I said, this is a stretch canvas, and I will paint the edges, even though I'm sure they'll frame it. But it gives them the option to not frame it if they choose not to. It just looks nice to give it to them that way. I prefer, I think, actually, to paint on panels, even though I do a lot of stretch canvas. Lots of greens. And I did take other photos. I took photos from in front and put some water in this. I won't be, you know, I won't get back to this right. This water will be out of here by the time I get back to this, so. Just a cute city scene, you know. Got a light post right in here and a street sign over here. The house is kind of I'd say it's purple. And the end of it is it's a rosy color. It's all about lighting. Boy, the lighting can really change the color. If you get out and paint, you will really notice that. So let's mix up a purple. Usual ultramarine blue and crimson and white. That's where I start, and then we see what we need from there. You know, it's a cooler much lighter than I have it. And I can't, in this photo, I can't see a lot of detail under the porch, so we'll have to decide. And again, I'm not real worried about nailing the color at this time either, because I'll be going over it again. This goes downhill just a little bit. Okay. Okay, what I'm looking at is I'm looking at the amount of space up here to here and from here to here to see if I feel like I've got things right. And the window should be higher. And there's about that much space over there. That's about right. This is in the front, so that it gets darker. Oops, sorry about that. My one group paints outside on Tuesday, and I don't think anybody's going out tomorrow. I was watching a bit of a demo again yesterday, and this gentleman was talking about for his shadow colors, he goes to the opposite color on the color wheel and adds some of that, which we talked about, that's a complement and how it grays it. And that's what he tends to do. Say if he's painting a blue building, when he goes into the shadow color, he would throw orange in there, which would gray it. I don't know, something to think about. I mean, everybody has their take on things. It's a fun place, isn't it? And there's lots of trim. We'll be at this one a long time. I was just giving some thought to what I was just talking about. You know, he was talking about, you know, we're doing a purple house, so it's kind of a, it's not a this kind of true purple, it's more toward this. So by his way of thinking, we would throw green in it for our shadow color. So let's try a little bit of that and see what it looks like. You know, it's definitely a muddier color. That's some of it there, so it's a grade down. You know, maybe. Under here, you know, all this is going to be in shadow. So for now, we're just going to paint it that way, and then I'm going to have to figure out details. You know, you can see when I zoom in, you can see some things, windows and doors, and okay, there's a post and a post there. You know, I think we'll just block it all in, and then we'll worry about it later. And the roof is just, I would consider it a gray. So we'll mix the three primaries and some white and see where that gets us. I mean, you got to start someplace. You know, you got to mix it up and then look at it and say, well, is it too warm? Is it too cool? Is it too light? Is it too dark? I mean, mix up a puddle of something, you know, and then make your decision. That's what I've done, and it looks too green. I'm mixing a little more blue in it. You know, just play around with it. And you know, I've said this before, but every color around it has an effect on that color. So until you get it up there, you can't really even tell sometimes. Something will look darker or lighter on your palette till you get it up there. And there's some things, you know, I'll leave out, like there's a gutter running here. I won't be putting that in. See, there's lots of light trim on the house, lots and lots of light trim. Let's try to mix up this color on the gable end here. Seeing this looks too green compared to the picture, but that's okay. We're just getting some paint on there for now. The value's not too bad. All right, and what color would we say that is? It's definitely got a lot of crimson in it, so let's start with crimson. I'm going to want to be careful with white because I don't want to cool it off too much. Maybe a little blue. Which pulls it a little darker. Let's put a little white in there. Don't want to go crazy with white though. And again, I'm going to have several more opportunities to get this just right. So, you know, for tonight we're just trying to block it in. And I've thinned it down a little bit too, so that's, but the color's not too bad. See, and quite obviously, this thing's got to come down to here. This right here. Stopped it way too short. Don't know why. Yeah, there's just white trim everywhere, inside and outside, and all right, where else do we see this pink trim? Right across in here. And these are too orange, but that's okay for now. And then there's brick on the front. I don't see a lot more of that red color. Actually, I think it runs across underneath here. But I think I'm going to cool it off quite a bit. It is not near this intense. Okay, so by his way of thinking, again, going back to the mixing in the complement, he would mix in green to this red, right? Just some food for thought, you know. And I'm going to mix up a kind of a brick color for all this brick that I see. This wall over here is brick too. I'm going to start with my transparent red oxide, which is a nice brick color on its own. And I think I'll mix up an orange to play into. I'm going to throw a little bit of that into it. I'm thinking more about the brick that's on the end that's catching the light. You know, kicking it up a little bit. Maybe. Yeah, I haven't been out of the house hardly since the quarantine started, and that lady came up to the car and kind of caught me off guard, and then I went up to her house to talk to her, and I had a mask in the car, but I didn't bring it because I just didn't think about it. It's just a weird time, isn't it? I painted one day in our local cemetery, and let me think what I'm doing here. And when I got finished, I walked up to, I was going to show it to the people in the office, and you know, the sign on the door, you can't do that. You can't just walk up to places anymore. Oops, this is a little low. Yeah, it's and I went to the post office today and the bank, and drove through the bank, but I went in the post office, so I wore my mask in, and there was a guy standing there, and one of the masks with a big filter. You know, I could hear him talking to the lady, and he sounded muffled, and I thought, boy, things have changed so much. It's a strange time, isn't it? Who would have thought, right? There's like a little half round circle thing there I have to put in at some point. Let me think if that's too low or not. It comes up, the bottom of it comes up and joins with this purple, so I've either got that too low or that too high. I think I may have that too low. So anyway, I went up to her house and knocked on the door, and right away it's like, oh, I'm so sorry, I should have put a mask on, and they're a business, so they handed me a mask to put on. So, oh, show you the stupid thing I did. I do a lot of stupid things. I put water out, you know, to paint with, and when I paint in the car, I have my suitcase full of my gear, and I open it, the lid up, and I have a cup of water down in the suitcase, which works fine as long as you remember to dump it. I drove home, took the suitcase out of the car, and didn't think anything about it till the next day. So I had a new roll of paper towels in there, which they took the hit. They're still wet. It was 2 nights ago. I'll be using them though. That's my Vivas. They soaked it all up. Oh, you just can't drive off with a cup of water, especially when you turn it on its side, right? So funny. Okay, so I'm looking at where I got things. So these bushes should be a bit higher too, it looks like. Because they're up pretty much hiding the brick in the front. They're kind of up in here. All right, let's get back to our brick color and put it in where we see it. Let me zoom in on this. Let's go over here to this wall and see what we see. No, really not much. There's some kind of, I think it's a gate. Oh, I bet the wings are on the, I can see brick here. And then there's some kind of a taupey colored, again, that's probably the gate that these are attached to. That's how it goes. Just keep analyzing, you know, what you're looking at. And when you move, every movement that you take, you know, the angle changes obviously, and there's things you can't see, and there's a lot of little detail we're going to be putting in. Oops, throwing stuff around here. This artist, anyway, I was watching demo, he was just talking about how important drawing is, and how we all want to get to the color, which is true, that's the fun part. But he was saying painting is like frosting a cake. You first have to make the cake, so I thought that was a good analogy. So you've got to have a good drawing underneath first. Oh, it's like this. In the end, I've got to get it right, or they're not going to want it. Once the virus is over, I may take those other paintings back up to the little town of Lebanon, and once I can safely go to someone's door and knock, see if they might be interested in purchasing them. That wasn't my intention in doing it. I just wanted to get out of the house. So, no big deal if they don't, We are going to do a show, my one group up in Lebanon this year, later this summer, so I'll need paintings of that area. And even something like this post, we have to stop and think. We have to show that it has form, and we'll have to have it can't just all be one color, so we'll have to think about that too later, not so much now. But, the light's coming from the side here. I shot these photos when it was at night. So we'll think about all that. At a later time. There's steps out here in the front. Okay, gotta stop and think about the way the building's gone, and then this goes around the corner. You know, this is part of the front of the house, this little tiny section here. Then this goes back out in the light. And I have to decide how much I want to get into detail. I'm an impressionist, and generally people realize that when they hire me, that I'm not going to do every little picky detail. You know, there's little stones in the foundation here. No, I will probably not be doing that. And the windows have white trim all around them, and this up here is a interesting shaped window. It's like 3 windows. That one's, these 2 are rectangle, and the center one curves at the top. So that's an important detail on the house, and we'll have to get that right. You know, little shingles up here like a lot of old houses, and you know, but they have to approve it. You know, they may want more detail when I think I've got it done, and I want them happy, so we'll do what we have to do. There's a little bit of that burgundy color right there we'll have to put in around the front. Yeah, lots of detail. The more I look, the more I see. That's how it is. And a whole row of windows up there. I think there's 9 little windows across there. What I try to do with windows is look and see what colors I see, you know. Like some of them are blue. One, two, three, four, five. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, what did I say? There's 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 9, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. Well, we're going to have to space them in and get them in there right. For now, we'll just lighten them up. You can see this is going to be challenging. you know, and I'll probably use my palette knife for some of this, I'm quite sure. These little tiny details like on the bottom of here. You know, I can't see much on the porch from this angle. There's a sign here that advertises their business. One of those little tent things. So I'll probably take a palette knife and do the edge of that. There's a window there, and there's a door over here, which I can't. Again, it's all in shadow. I'm going to have to go much darker under this porch. There's a front door there. There's another window over in here. Yeah, we're going to have to go a lot darker. You can see I got lots of challenges ahead of me. And I don't know how much of it I'll get to show you. Like I said, I probably at some point will go up and paint on location. I thought I'd at least let you see the start of it. So it's blocking the sky. I usually head toward cobalt when I'm doing skies. There is some clouds in the sky, but again, for now, we're just getting some paint on there. I may go with a little bit bigger brush so I can get it covered. I don't usually do these stretch canvases online because I can't really hang them up. Wow, I think I still hear it raining. I wanted to go for a walk. It may not happen, huh? These are pine trees, a couple tall pine trees. I think I told you there was a piece of roof here that I didn't get in my original sketch. I'll have to make sure I get in. Make sure I know it's there. Yeah, there's lots and lots of light trim. Really too early for any of that, but because I want to recoat all this, and then I'll probably do all this trim. But it'd be fun. you know, over in here, the side, this is the side again that the light's hitting, so we want to make sure it feels like that. You know, we may even need to warm that up more. Right now my color is darker. It's in the family, but it's darker. Okay, so this gate over here is just kind of a taupey kind of brown color that's behind this butterfly. Kind of neat, I think. And when I took these shots, I could see in some of them I had this butterfly. I was hoping they'd choose one of these shots where I got off to the side and you know, nice light over here, and again I could see the butterfly, so I was hoping they'd go for that too. Kind of clean up the shape of this butterfly. Yeah, when they do a promotional kind of things where they give stuff away, they take people's pictures in front of the butterfly. You know, it's huge. They're huge wings when you stand in front of them. Just blocking them in for now. Yeah, if you live anywhere near Lebanon, Ohio, you should go visit. Just a charming town. I think they closed one of the streets this year to open more outdoor seating for cafes, and north of there, about a half an hour, is a town called Waynesville, Ohio. Oh, I love Waynesville. Used to be considered the antique capital of the Midwest, or so, I don't know. I know antiques aren't as popular as they used to be, but it's a cute, cute town too. I usually go up there and do a plein air competition every summer, hoping they'll do that again this year. If they do, I'll be up there. So there's our wings blocked in. All right, let's just keep blocking in color where we see it. Looks like there's gravel around these front beds. I can see I need to bring that green up quite a ways up to here. It's going to be higher. Just constantly adjust, that's what it is. Hopefully this is not too boring for you. Oh yeah, I think it's pouring out there. I have to think about that. These are much too wide. Sometimes it throws me off when I expand the photo out. I like painting from life the best, I gotta admit. It's just easier to get the proportions right. And more gravelly stuff over here. And again, I'm not overly concerned about things being just right yet. All right, we'll get this blocked in, and that might be enough for tonight. I'll look where I think I want to adjust my drawing though before I quit. So the sidewalk is it's a light color. I'm looking at it, trying to decide. A little bit on the warm side. Let's pop this up here. And actually it's a little darker in there where it comes out to meet the sidewalk. And right down here is where our street sign is. It runs up. It's a stop sign with the street sign on the top. We're looking at the back of it though. I got my rubber knife out the other night when I was up there painting, and I'll show you again. One of the paintings I showed you how much I used it toward the end. And then we got the road out here, which I'll just put a little wash on there for now. We'll use this paint and get a little more on the canvas. Like I said, we're going to have to really kill the intensity of them. ridge of paint there. If we don't get rid of that, we'll be scraping that off. Okay, I'm going to, before I quit here, I'm going to go under that porch and darken that. It is not dark enough. You know, when the photo's down small on my iPad, again, I can see very little detail under here. Doesn't mean I'm going to put it in, but I've got to keep it the right value. I've got to keep it dark. Again, it's a little early for detail, but I've got the paint here, so I might as well throw some of it on there, huh? It's got to be darker under here too. You know, we want to get these values pretty close. This is darker. You know, and just because I see it that way, painting it, you know, they might not be happy with it, and I'll have to obviously adjust it. So, all right, we got to get darker under here. Actually, almost looks like it comes down at a curve. I think it does. Wow, can you hear that rain? Those are going to be lighter, you know. You have to think about the shape of them too. And they'll be lighter on this side facing the light. All right, is there anything that, I mean, obviously these steps are, they actually are pretty dark, really. And then there's a handrail that comes down that divides the steps in half. So lots of detail. That's probably enough to get us started. And then there's a potted plant here and here. Lots of stuff going on. All right, that's our start. Canvas is covered. Let me shrink it back down and I'll show you where we are. How long is that? An hour. And I may come show you some more of it. I don't know whether I will or not. I'll be going over it. I mean, there's a lot of time going to be put into this yet. But that's where it is. That's the photo. So we got everything blocked in. I'll look at it again and make sure my drawing feels correct. A lot of things I know feel off because of just the need for trim, like under here. But the bones are there. Oh, I was going to show you, wait a minute, I'll show you this painting I was talking about. This is one I took, that rubber knife that I use so often, and I did the whole foreground with it. See how painterly and juicy it is? I thought it was kind of fun. All right, thank you for joining me. Like I said, I'll definitely, when it's completed, show it to you. But I'm going to be at this one for a while. I already see some adjustments I'm going to be making. All right, thank you so much. Bye-bye.